Grief, or bereavement, is the intense sadness that people will experience when their loved one passes away. You may face difficulty to fall asleep, lack of appetite, feeling sick, and lastly, cry. And yes, you can easily see the mental and emotional response from grievers. But in fact, grief is tied together with your physical response, which involving your bodies and brain. According to a study by Buckley et al. In 2012, the death of a loved one is recognized as one of the greatest stress in one's life. If this stress lasts for a long period of time, it can actually increase one's health risk. Now, we often see this in drama or in real life, whereby people who just received the death news of their loved one, they totally have no appetite to eat no matter how others convince them. Even when there are plenty of food served on the table, they still don't feel like they want to eat. Ever wondering why this happened? To explain it in a physiological way, we can focus on the HPA axis. H stands for hypothalamic, P is pituitary gland, and A is adrenal cortex. After you receive the death news, this information will reach your brain hypothalamus, and your body's sympathetic nervous system will be activated. From the hypothalamus, it will release the corticotropin releasing hormone, so-called CRH. It will travel within the blood to the anterior pituitary gland, where it stimulates the production of adrenal corticotrophic hormone, ACTH. ACTH then travels to the adrenal cortex and stimulate the release of cortisol. Now, you may heard of cortisol as the stress hormone. It can enhance your metabolic activity, increase blood level of sugar, regulate blood pressure, and mobilize the body energy to deal with stress situation. It sounds just like a good hormone, right? But a continuously high level of cortisol can interfere with your ability to digest, contribute to lack of appetite. A study by Simon et al. In 2018 supported that the increased level of cortisol causing lower ventral striatum response to food cues, as the ventral striatum play an important role in food pleasure and reward processing. Therefore, lower activity in ventral striatum may lead to decreased appetite and eating. The same thing goes to sleep disturbance. You will find that grievers may face difficulty to sleep. They will walk around their house, lying in a bed but can't sleep, and started to realize that morning is growing nearer. This is because high cortisol level will mobilize your body energy, which makes you difficult to relax or stay alert.
Now, another situation is, you will notice that sometimes grievers are more likely to suffer from sickness. But why did this happen? Well, it is actually related with our body immune system. Scientifically saying, our immune system is a host defense system comprising many biological structures and processes within an organism that protect you suffering from disease. However, when someone's stress is being prolonged, the cortisol, which is the stress hormone in their body, will direct the energy toward increasing metabolism and therefore diminish the energy from providing protein to your immune system. In this case, when your immune system does not have enough protein that help fight disease, meaning that your immune system already getting weak. This is why people who are experiencing grief, they are more likely to suffer from sickness, because high cortisol level in their body will destroy the energy toward increasing the metabolism and less protein supply to boost their immune system.
Another situation that often occurs when someone is experiencing grief is they will definitely cry. But do you understand how tears will produce when you are crying? Now I will introduce 3 types of tears and explain about the production of tears in detail. Firstly, basal tears is produced to protect your eyes by lubricating and help to keep it clear of dust. The second type of tears is reflex tears. Reflex tears is tears that help to wash out the irritants that come in contact with your eyes. Lastly, psychic tears is tears that increase lacrimation due to strong emotional stress, suffering, or physical pain. This strong emotional practice is not only restricted to negative emotion, but also when you feel extremely happy. Basically, when talking about production of tears for grieving people, it's mainly associated with psychic tears because apparently it is related to our emotion. Speaking of emotion, it definitely involves its limbic system because your basic emotional drives such as happy, sad, fear, anger, and any other emotion are processed in your limbic system. Imagine when a grieving person is crying, their sadness causing the hypothalamus in the limbic system get activated. So, the hypothalamus will start its job by controlling over the autonomic system, which include parasympathetic system. When parasympathetic system release the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, it binds together with the nicotinic and muscarinic receptors, which will send signal to the lacrimal gland. Therefore, when lacrimal gland is activated, it can produce tears. Another interesting thing is, do you know that crying is also one of the solutions to deal with sadness? This is why when people who are grieving, it is recommended for them to cry rather than suppress their feeling. To explain it in a scientific way, crying removes tears that contain protein-based hormone, which will help you to diminish stress level. The chemical contained in tears include leucine and enkephalin, which is help to control pain. Prolactin regulates mammalian milk production, and the most important compound removed by tears is adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is one of the best known indicator of stress.
Now I'm going to talking about by eating dark chocolate can help to reduce the sense of grief. But why dark chocolate can reduce the feeling of grief? This is because within dark chocolate, it contains cocoa polyphenols, antioxidant and theobromide that can improve the mood level and immune system function. This is understandable because when a person eats, the reward and gratification associated with food consumption activate dopamine receptor in the brain, stimulating reward and pleasure center. As a result, their mood level will increase. Cocoa polyphenols can find in most of the chocolate products. Within dark chocolate have been shown to have many potential health benefits, such as reducing blood pressure, increasing cerebral blood flow, and improving neuropsychological functioning. Dark chocolate also contains antioxidants that can boost immune system functioning. By eating dark chocolate, people will increase the function of the immune system and will not get sick so easily. Cocoa products have a surprisingly high concentration of theobromide. With dark chocolate, the high concentration of theobromide operates as a stimulant in the human body, such as increase the blood flow, glucose level, and heart rate, so that the person can be more alert instead of having negative emotion like grief.
Well, I'm sure that most of us heard of free hug campaigns that happens in the public places. This is truly a meaningful campaign because sometimes just simply give a hug to another person can make them feel better. A study by the researchers has supported these ideas and mentioned that touch able to reduce stress, depressions, and pain. The reason is because when we hug someone, the level of plasma oxytocin in their body will increase. This oxytocin, commonly known as love hormone, plays a key role for interpersonal coupling, which underlies trust and able to reduce depressive feeling. Moreover, touch activated the reward circuits in the brain so they can experience pleasure during touch. Now we can see touch give a powerful effect in our emotional well-being and diminish stress or pain in various settings. This shows that touch is very important in grief healing process.
There is another solution to help you to cope with grief, which is engaging yourself in exercise and physical activity. So, how exercise can affect our emotion? According to Lin and Kuo 2013, he mentioned that during exercise, our brain will release neurotransmitters, which is serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline. These neurotransmitters are the most common types of neurotransmitters that are able to bring pleasure and sense of well-being to a person. People who are experiencing grief for a long period of time tend to feel down, fatigued, and demotivated. Therefore, let me explain how this neurotransmitter functions and how it can help to deal with this situation. During grief, people usually have low level of serotonin. According to Uppala et al. 2015, serotonin able to regulate sleep, body temperature, as well as blood pressure. Low level of serotonin will lead to depression and people might engage into certain violent behavior. Also, study shows that people who have low level of serotonin usually will have high incidence of suicide attempt. Therefore, an adequate amount of serotonin are necessary for a stable mood. Besides that, dopamine is suggested to be a medium of encouraging motivated behavior, as well as a vessel for internal reward signal. Therefore, when someone is doing exercise, their dopamine level will increase, thus inducing satisfaction feeling. Just like when someone listening to music or engaging in sexual intercourse, it able to make people to have pleasure experience due to dopamine. Lastly, the function of noradrenaline is important to attention arousal. It makes people to become alert or in a vigilant state. During our sleep, noradrenaline is in a low vigilant state. That's why when people feel fatigued or tired, they usually cannot give others proper attention. The same situation happens to people who are experiencing grief. They usually feel fatigued and moody. Therefore, it is so important to do exercise because it potentially increases the production of noradrenaline.